everyone. Hope everyone's doing well. It's been a little while since we've recorded. It was my 30th last week. I know what you're thinking. I don't look a day over 20. But no, yeah. So I've taken a bit of a break. You know, I had some family come down to stay for my birthday, and so yeah, it's just not been a good time to record or create any content or anything of those sorts. But Jay will be joining me shortly, and we will obviously be discussing the results that we've had during the week. So the Man United game, the Everton game, and obviously that fantastic win against Spurs. We'll be looking at Miggy's form. You know, Callum Wilson, will he get in the England squad? Richard Keys talking absolute crap again. And, you know, there's just a variety of topics that we can go with. Obviously, we're going to have a little bit of a look at how far we've come as a club. I mean, we're in the top four, for God's sake. Top four. How long has it been since, you know, we've even been in and around that sort of area, not worrying about relegation or having to fear anything like that. It honestly, it's Eddie Howe has been a revelation on this team. The way he's taken players that were underperforming and just created this complete unit within the squad. It's just phenomenal, to be honest. And I mean, obviously, Jason Tyndall takes a lot of credit as well. Eddie was saying a few weeks ago in his conference that Jason's the one that sets up all the set piece routines normally, and you can tell that they're so well drilled in these. I mean, the corners that we've been having. Obviously, Miggy scored. Also, Bruno scored that terrific set piece a few weeks back, where Miggy squares it out to Trippier and he just whips that ball in, and Bruno at the back. So the fact they're being so well coached, so well drilled, it's refreshing to see. And the fitness of this team is incredible. I mean, the Steve Bruce team last year, they looked tired after the first 10 minutes of a game. This team has, barring maybe one or two changes, played the exact same team for pretty much 3 games straight. It's amazing. But Jay's here now, so he's going to join us. I'll just throw him on the stream quickly.
Yo.
How are we doing?
Yeah, you might want to turn your volume down a bit. You are loud.
Give us a sec. Let me sort that. Maybe I can just speak a bit softer. Is that better?
Put the whiskey down.
Where... Is this any better?
No change. Doesn't matter.
Sorry, mate.
If you see me ears bleeding, you know it might be a bit loud.
Hang on. What if I sit back a little bit further? Is that any better?
Yeah, it's fine. It's fine. Don't worry about it.
But yeah, no, mate. What a week it's been. How are you anyway? It's been a little while since we recorded last.
Yeah, not bad. Been focusing more on my streaming and finally got a week off, so I decided to use that whole entire week to stream, and things have been on the up, going really well.
I've seen, mate. Yeah, you're doing phenomenally well. I mean, you're spiking with the amount of people that are, you know, subscribing to your Twitch and everything, and it's good to see, mate. And obviously, I watch it when I get the opportunity. I mean, I'm enjoying it. Helped me through Final Fantasy 9 a bit as well. That's getting me through that game. But how have you been doing with the football? Obviously, you've watched the games. I know you said you've not really seen much of the news around, you know, transfers and things that have been popping up.
Yes, it's just since I left all the sport content behind, I've just not really bothered on it, because it's just the fact that I was on it every single day, all day, every day, going through it all. So now I've stepped away from it. I just want to rest from it. I don't want to be seeing any of that type of stuff. I just want to just go on like a normal fan, watch the game, then switch off and just chill. So that's what I've just been doing. So I don't even know nothing. I know Bruno's had a kid. That's pretty much all I've known. I haven't heard nothing else.
Oh, wow. Well, we've got some little bits to fill you in on then as we go along. But should we start with the Man United game? Obviously, it was a 0-0. Really good performance. We frustrated that Old Trafford crowd, which was just lovely. And obviously, Ronaldo trying to take the ball off of Nick Pope before he'd taken a free kick, and then somehow expecting it to end up as a goal was quite a highlight of that game. But what's your thoughts on it? Was it a goal? Was it
I think we should have won that. We should have won it.
I have to agree. There was a handball. We should have had a penalty.
As throughout the entire season, VAR have been screwing us over. If it wasn't for VAR, I reckon we would actually be sitting top of the table instead of Arsenal.
Yeah. Now, I know we're both quite big advocates of not playing Dan Burn at left back, but he's done a really good job so far, I think. I mean, against Man United, Anthony did cause him some problems. Obviously, against Everton, there was one or two issues. I can't remember who's playing down that side. Was it Gordon that was playing down that side?
Yeah.
And then we had, against Spurs, a bit of an easier ride, I think, because they just didn't chance it. I mean, they had Emerson Royale going against Dan Burn, and it was a massive mismatch for me, to be honest. But he's done well in that left back position. Against Man United, there was the occasional sloppy foul and everything. But what's your feel? I mean, the partnership him and Botman are sort of developing has been interesting, I think would be the word to say.
It's just the fact that you see the team select, you see the opponent's selection, you think, okay, they got some real pacey wingers. And then you look at ours and you think, oh, why is Dan Burn on the left? I want him to stay as a centre-back. You need that tall, strong player. Dan Burn and a Botman centre pairing, that would be ideal for me. But you can't get Shah out of the team. There is no way you're getting Shah out of that team. So you have to stick Dan Burn somewhere. But I also want to see Matt Targett on the left. We've signed him on a permanent deal. Why aren't we playing him on the left? He is a natural left back. Jamal Lewis is a natural left back. Dan Burn is a natural centre back, but can play left back. So it's awkward. I want to see players played in their actual position. I hate when players are played out of position.
There's got to be something wrong with Matt Targett's fitness. I mean, I know he's been injured for a little while after he had that dead thigh or whatever it was that was going on, but I'm not sure if he's not game fit because he's not played in ages. So maybe that's a part of it. Maybe it's the fact that we've got such a consistent run going with this team, but I feel like there's something underlying with his fitness that maybe Eddie's gone, you know what, just keep working on it. You'll eventually get in the team. We're only 12 games in. I'm sure there'll be an opportunity for him, but yeah, I'm just wondering if maybe that's all it is. It's just his fitness.
Could very well be, but then also you've got Jamal Lewis. Where's he?
Yeah, I have to admit, though, from what I've seen of him recently, I know he's only played against, was it Tranmere he played against? And then, did he play against Tranmere?
second half sub, I think, when we changed the whole left. Yeah.
There was another team he came on against, wasn't there? Oh, was it the City game that he came on right at the death? Him, Lascelles, and then they both messed up.
Yeah, you had Lewis and Targett come on. Targett went on the right, Lewis went on the left.
Yeah, he's not really impressed in the little cameos that he's had the opportunities to play in, but I have to admit this season I think he's probably first choice cup left back for me. I'd start him in the cups, get his game fitness built up, get him sort of aware of how the team is playing because he's still in the Steve Bruce mindset of defend at all costs, but he doesn't seem to have quite moulded into the player that Eddie would want really in and around the first team, and it's shown from the fact that he doesn't get a second on the pitch. It's a strange one. Lewis came in with such hype and he's just not hit the levels that we know he can, which is a shame. But speaking of players that have hit a level that we never knew they could, what about Miggy Almer on the past few weeks, mate? Jesus Christ, what a player transformed.
I had someone comment on a post that I put before the season started. When I said Miggy is going to be a beast of a player this season, I got slated by so many. And then someone put on there, you called it from the off. That's all I'm going to say on it. I said Miggy would be a beast. Look at that. 6 goals this season, 5 goals in 5 games. What else can you say?
I think as well, some people are doing him a little bit dirty by saying, Grealish is the motivation for all of this. it's just good tactics and having Trippier playing behind you. That's all he needed. He needed someone behind him that knew what they were doing. Because when Steve Bruce was in charge, it was more, rather than Miggy trying to get into the channels and, you know, take on defenders, it was get back and defend at all costs when the ball's in our half. So he never had the opportunity to break and do all these things. But now he's in a team with a few players that can get the ball to him. Oh my God! It's that goal he scored against Spurs. I know it wasn't the most beautiful goal, and you know Lloris could have saved it. But it's the fact that he took on Sessegnon for strength, outmuscled him, did Lenglet completely with a little bit of trickery. It was just that's a player playing with confidence, and that's what we need. And it's amazing.
Just like under Rafa, you saw an amazing Miggy, but with no end product. He couldn't score for anything. That you see at Atalanta and with Paraguay, scoring for fun and being that amazing player. We had the amazing player, but we didn't have the goals out of Miggy. Yeah, when Steve Bruce came in, we finally got the goals out of Miggy. But now with Eddie, we've combined the Rafa Miggy that has all the ability and the talent to the Bruce Miggy that could score goals. We've combined them, and now we see what Miggy is truly about.
Oh, yeah. And it's amazing. And obviously, he's someone that we were looking to replace in the transfer window in the summer. We were looking to bring in a right winger. I think we've changed now. I think we're probably looking for a left winger. I know St. Maximin will probably be back in January, possibly sooner. But I feel like somebody on that left wing would be better than bringing in someone on the right when we've got so much cover for that position. You know, Jacob, we've got Fraser, and we've got Miggy. The way he's playing, you can't drop him.
Yeah, it's got to be that left side. I mean, ASM is made of glass. The slightest tap and he goes down, rolling around, wanting to come off. And then he got his attitude when things ain't going his way, he'll want to come off. And I've said all along, what ASM needs is someone that's going to fight for his place. If he's got someone fighting for his place, then he's going to start putting a shift in. Otherwise, he knows he's walking straight into that team.
Yeah. I know you're not somebody for the rumours and everything and all the press talk, but that Mudryk from Shakhtar, is it Shakhtar that he plays for? Not Shakhtar, is it? It's... But whoever he plays for, I think it's a Ukrainian team. But he could potentially be someone that we look at, or even James Maddison. I know Maddison can play anywhere across, you know, that sort of left wing, right wing, centre attacking mid sort of position. So maybe he's someone that we go back in for. And yeah, I mean, I do feel that we are either a centre midfielder and a winger short of a first team that is challenging for these competitions.
Yeah, the only player that I have actually seen that we're linked to and should be signing in January is that Brazilian young 17-year-old that's apparently been tweeted, touted about. I'm like, yeah, okay, it's just going the way we're going. We're signing the entire Brazilian national team. Why not? I mean, we're that good. It's only a matter of time before Paqueta just said, you know, I don't like this club. I want to go up north.
Well, I think you're right. I think there's what's his name, Andre Santos. I think.
Something like that. Yeah, Santos.
Yeah, and then you've got the other one that we're looking at as well, and Angelo, who's the little winger over there as well, who's like 18, who's meant to be the next big thing too. So there's a lot of fingers and a lot of pies over in Brazil, and hell, I mean, if it improves our youth talent, I'm all for it, because that, as good as the reserve team can be on its day, we need more depth of quality in there to come through into the first team.
It's just a matter of will he be in the youth team, because he's played like something like 92 matches for the first team already. And he's like 17, so what's wrong with him going straight into the first team?
Well, this is it. I mean, if we can get him, I don't know if he'd get a work permit straight away. That's the only trouble. So I don't know if he'll be able to do this season.
It's the same with the young Australian kid. He's going to be he's going to be loaned out to a European club so he can get his work permit.
He's looking so good. There's a couple of goals he scored, I think, for the Australian under-21s. Oh my God, we have got such a player on our hands with that young lad. I mean, I know it's all been said before, when we signed players like Elias Sorensen, and there was quite a lot of hype about these young lads, but it never sort of came through. But you can just tell this boy, he's already played for the Australian men's team, and yeah, it's going to be good. I'm really looking forward to seeing how we develop and everything over the next few years.
It's going to be amazing. Cannot wait for it. You can see that trophy cabinet finally getting dusted, and then there's trophies going in now.
Oh yes, mate, it'll be lovely. Right, so we spoke Man United, and then we sort of deviated, but Everton. What did you think of the performance? I mean, I know obviously Anthony Gordon with his amateur dramatics all over the pitch, but the highlight for me, it wasn't the goal, it was the fact that Gordon goes down for nothing in our box, and then he squares up to Kieran Trippier, and out of nowhere, Fabian Schär,
bang, Schär comes in. Yeah, you want some? All right, I'll give you some.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. If it's one of the defenders, Schär's there. If it's one of the midfielders getting picked on, Jolinton's there. The team sticks up for each other, which is not something that we're used to. I mean, that just shows the spirit in the team. But yeah, Gordon, I think all game he was just, I don't know. He looked like he wanted to just lay down half the time. The amount of times he's fallen to the floor, but it's crazy because I feel we performed better than the result. What about you?
Yeah, I feel Gordon has to fall down twice as much now that Richarlison's left. As soon as that square up happened, I was just watching it and I was like, oh, here we go. Gordon's squaring up to Trippier. Trippier's going to nut him in a minute, and then in comes Schär. I'm like, oh no, step away. Schär's taking over here. Like, it's good to see your players are sticking up to your players, and they're going to have your teammates back.
Oh god, yeah. Well, it's going
Apart from that, I didn't really enjoy the game as much, even though we got the points. It was quite stop-start play, especially with Gordon constantly going down I can't even believe we got linked with him. I would not have really liked. All right, fair enough. I will say, sadly, I will say he is a decent player. If he keep going down, he is quite a decent player. But I would not have liked him in the team if we'd signed him, and that's all he kept doing. No.
Yeah, I feel like he's one of those where if he's on your side and he's doing it and he wins a free kick or a penalty, legend. But if he's not, then it's just
he's just being why Man City brought Grealish, just for free kicks.
Yeah, pretty much, mate. Pretty much. But it's like I feel as well Pickford was wasting time with the goal kicks. I know it's something that we get accused of with Nick Pope, and I've got nothing against it. But it slowed the pace of the game down, which didn't really help us. And it was an Everton team with a point to prove after the way they've, they ended last season. And to be honest with you, I have to say that Onana, as much as he was, falling to the floor, not so much as Gordon, but he was falling to the floor from light taps. But he doesn't look like a bad little player for Everton. I think they've got a decent signing there. And he made it difficult for Bruno in that midfield, but clearly not difficult enough. But yeah, I think they've got some quality players there. What about you? What do you reckon of their transfer business this summer?
They got the players. I don't think they've got the manager. I mean, I think Lampard has been extremely lucky to keep hold of his job. Especially at the end of last season, you think I had my money down on him being the first manager out. But obviously, he's still managed to keep hold of that. I think he's so lucky. But yeah, the whole time wasting, I've said it time and time. I absolutely hate time wasting. I even hate it when we time waste. I think it just destroys the game. I don't like it. Just get the ball back into play and continue the game. I don't even like it when they time waste at the end of matches. It just drives me mad. Just stop time wasting, whether it's us or the other team. Don't do it. It's annoying. I really don't like it. It makes me want to just turn off. If you're just going to stand around there doing nothing, then I'm not going to be bother giving you the view.
Well, this is it, mate. I mean, it can be frustrating. Don't get me wrong. I'm happy if it gets us the win. But like at Spurs, there were so many times I thought Nick Pope was going to get sent off because already on a yellow, and he's taking a good 5 minutes to put the ball on the spot to take the bloody kick. But I suppose if it gets us to points, I'm all for it. If it was against us, then I can understand why people like Liverpool and Spurs and everyone was getting so irritated with us. But that's just part of football, really, isn't it? If you're playing FIFA, my brother's the world's worst on FIFA when we play. He always takes the ball to the corner 80th minute, just stands there.
Oh, yeah.
It gets him the win. It gets him the win, which is all he wants. So,
what they need to do is what they had in a few years ago, and that was the 5-second rule. But the ball must be back in play within 5 seconds, or you're getting booked. That has to come back.
It does, I think, yeah. And goalkeepers releasing the ball as well. I swear there's a rule they're only allowed to hold it for a certain amount of time, but it seems like that's just getting overlooked.
Yeah. That all needs to come back in. They got to have the ball's got to be in constant play.
Yeah, well, this is it. That being said, our goal was an absolute masterstroke, don't you think? The way the ball just swept over to Miggy and not just first time, bang, far corner, little arms couldn't reach it. It was beautiful.
Beautiful. Miggy, Miggy, wow. Bruno Miggy connection has been amazing, what we've been seeing over the 3 weeks. Miggy picks out the pass. Bruno knows exactly where he's going. He doesn't even have to know. He doesn't even have to look. He just knows where he's going to be. Knocks the ball there. Miggy's there. Smack, goal, sorted. Game over. Just go home. When Miggy and Bruno are on the pitch, just go home. As soon as Joe Linton comes on, just go home. The game's done. You ain't got no chance.
It's so good to see, because then Bruno had a chance not long after. Again, another beautiful move to get into the box, and maybe he could have done a little bit better, but he wasn't correctly balanced, so he fell over and the ball went just wide. But oh my God, that team is looking so good when we counter press. It's just beautiful to watch. From what we had last year, mate, it's so nice. It's so nice. It's a strange feeling enjoying football and wanting to see the next game. It's crazy.
It's hard to figure out when we're ever going to lose again. It's just every single match. Yeah, I think we can win that. Yeah, I think we can win that. Yeah, do you know what? We can win that.
Well, yeah. I mean, we've got the best defence in the league so far. Obviously, only conceded 10.
I think we've got the most clean sheets as well, I think.
Yeah. And then you've got to remember as well, the only reason we lost to Liverpool is because it's 6 minutes of added time. So it's crazy. It is crazy how, for a manager that came in with a reputation for not being very good defensively, how well he's done. And I know he went to Atletico Madrid and he went to a few clubs in Italy to sort of, expand his portfolio a little bit and work on the things he needed to work on. And it shows, because he has come back and he's helping us dominate at the moment. I know we've played 3 of the big teams so far in Liverpool, United, and City. So, sorry, Man United. It's amazing, and all credit to him and Jason Tindall, because as much as we praise Eddie, I think Jason Tindall gets missed out a little bit, because I love his little angry face on the touchline of the game as well. I think that's...
Oh, yeah. So especially if he goes and squares up against the opposition bench. you see Jason Tindall walking up with these bloody great muscles, and you think, yeah, go on. That's all I want to see. You go over and knock the coach out or something. just have Eddie shouting out instructions, and you have the opposing manager just flat out on the touchline. That'd be absolutely amazing. It's just those team photos that come up after each match. I'm a bit sketchy about the face that Tindall pulls.
Well, there was a little video, I don't know if you saw it, that came out the other day. I think it was after the Everton game, where Miggy's walking down the tunnel, and one of the I'm not sure what he was, whether he was like head of security or something like that, but Miggy just runs up and he grabs him and he lifts him off the floor. And
he's swaying him like a little pendulum.
Yeah. And
but how light is Miggy?
Oh God, yeah. But it just shows from top to bottom at the club, everyone is buying in, whether it's the tea lady or your star striker, everyone's involved, and it's amazing because we've never had that feeling of complete unity at the club. It's always been sort of a fractured kind of thing, and now everything's brought together. You can see it's all coming good, and yeah, it's just a joy to see.
Yeah, there's definitely so much togetherness within the club. They're happy. So we're finally seeing happiness in the entire thing. Every single player is smiling.
I love it, mate. It's so good. Right. And then there's the Spurs game. Again, we deviate a little bit from Everton, but let's move on to the Spurs game. So obviously, they've not lost at home this season. So we're the first team to beat them there. I can't remember what their ground's called. Was it Tottenham Hotspur Stadium?
Shite Hart Lane, yeah.
Yeah. And now, I know there was a lot of controversy from their fans about our first goal, but I don't think there's a single Newcastle fan, or in fact, a fan from any other club that really thinks that it was a foul.
There was nothing wrong with it. Yeah. Even, what's his name? Jamie Carragher said there was nothing wrong with it. There is no reason for them to even complain about it. Lloris came out. He challenged it. Where is Callum Wilson going to go with that much space? And how is he going to slam the brakes on so he can stop dead in his tracks? There is no way. There was always going to be contact. There was nothing wrong with that challenge. That goal is 100% legal.
Yeah. Well, I love Wilson's little interview after the game where they basically said, you know, is it a foul or what? And he went, well, no, he sort of jumped into me and fell to the floor. So it's exactly what happened, to be fair. I mean, if you watch it back, and I must have watched it about 20 times just to try and figure out if it was or not. Lloris, as he hits him, it's sort of, he's delayed by about a second, and then he just crumples and falls to the floor. But it's his reaction, the fact that he immediately springs back up and then tries to defend the shot. For me, that clearly shows that it wasn't a foul, because if it was, he'd be raging. Rather than getting back up to try and defend the shot, he'd be on the floor raging.
He knows he made the mistake.
Yeah. Well, if he'd have made a meal of it as well when he was on the floor, I think the referee probably would have given it him. But the fact that he then got back up and he did it, and you know, it wasn't a foul. We all know it wasn't a foul. If it was a defender on a defender, it would have carried on. But the finish from Wilson, outside, he used his weak foot. Sorry, is what I was trying to say. He used his weak foot, and he just chipped it over Lloris and Dyer into the back of the net. It was a beautiful goal.
It was perfect. I was watching with a Spurs fan, and the best thing about it, when I go back to work on Monday, one of the caretakers, he's a Spurs fan. He was saying, we're going to batter you at the weekend. I cannot wait to go into work on Monday and say, so how was your weekend? I cannot wait.
It is just lovely. See, my Mrs. Mum, she's a Tottenham fan as well. I've not rubbed it in because
you'll be sleeping on the sofa.
Yeah, pretty much. But it's brilliant. I mean, the way we're playing now, it's sort of my missus doesn't understand. 14 years of shit football. She doesn't understand why I get so emotional watching the football now. It's so nice to see. But I mean, she sat through 6 years of this crap as well, so she might understand a little bit. But yeah, it's so it's just crazy. I mean, if you look at it another way as well, I've got a little picture here. Actually, I don't think I'll be able to put it on the screen, but in 2022, Newcastle have got 59 points, which is 6 more than Chelsea and 12 more than Man United. So we're outperforming these two top 4 teams, supposedly. And it shows. I mean, our defence is one of the meanest. Our attacking prowess is completely and utterly highlighted by the fact that the amount of times we win the ball in the opposition's half, we immediately press with the ball in the opposition's half, shots on target, ball possession. We are turning into something of a problem for these teams.
Oh, definitely. I mean, you've only got to look at the table now. So where we were last season, rock bottom of the league, to now where we're sitting well, you can only say that top 3 clubs because we occupy that 4th place, and why not stay there? Why not go on? We're only 7 points from top spot. Just think that's 2 wins and a draw.
Yeah, and we've got to play Arsenal when we come back from the World Cup as well.
Yes, first game in January, 2nd of January.
That is the truest test of how far we've come, because the way they've been playing is amazing. I will hold my hands up. I never in my life expected Arteta to get a tune out of that team, and the way Granit Xhaka's playing, I don't understand it. That guy has turned himself around at that club, and fair play to him. I'm not the biggest Arsenal fan in the world, but they've done well. I mean, all this hype about Jesus being the best signing of the season, I'm not buying. Núñez has the same amount of goals as him, and he's scored them in something like 400 less minutes. But
the only problem I have with Arsenal, I've been watching a lot of Arsenal games as well with Jack, and with him being an Arsenal fan, is we've both noticed the same thing. Arteta is, we're pretty much saying he's using Bruce tactics. As soon as Arsenal take the lead, they sit back for the rest of the game. That is something that we can take to our advantage with the way that we like playing attacking type football now. If Arsenal take the lead, we'll just keep on attacking. We'll get that equaliser. We'll go on and get that winner, just like teams done with us. As soon as we took the lead, they would eventually get that equaliser or go on and get a winner. Yeah, Arsenal are there for the taking. We can see they constantly like to sit back now as soon as they score.
Yeah, I'm with you on that 100%, mate. I mean, I have to admit that long gone are the days where I fear us playing any team. The only team I fear in this division is Man City. But even then, we've shown we can hang with them in that 3-3 draw. I mean, we probably should have won that game if it wasn't for just a lapse of concentration, which led to them scoring their second and then their third. We could have left with that game with 3 points, but it's incredible. And I mean, the way we played at Spurs, it just shows we've got no fear anymore. And Eddie's playing with no fear. I mean, the second goal we've already sort of touched on, but the way Miggy, it's insane. Sean Longstaff as well, a player that I have to admit I'm very hard on. I've got very high expectations for him, given that, you know, he's a local lad and the position he plays in as well. We've got Bruno playing next to him and Jolinton, so it's very difficult to sort of be on their level as well. So he's in a difficult place, but the way he came over and took possession of the ball from Lloris's kick out straight to Miggy, powered past Sessegnon, powered past Lenglet, buried it underneath Lloris, and it was another mistake from the keeper, but you can tell how much it means to Miggy that he's doing this, and you can tell how much it means to just the team to see him scoring as well.
Oh, definitely. Miggy is a brand new fresh breath of fresh air with Miggy. He's confidence. He has that confidence. Like he said earlier, he's got someone there that can give him the ball, that can know where he's going to be and make sure that he gets that ball in that area instead of Miggy having to do like a Cisse type of thing when he was with us. He would always stray offside because he needed that ball there and then before he could make that run. With Cisse, he was always offside. Miggy, he needs that ball there and then so that you can see what he's capable of doing. But he was not getting that service. Now you got Trippier, an England international, a guy that's played for Spurs and Atletico Madrid. He's played for big clubs. He knows where to pick out that pass and knows where to find that player. That's what Miggy has missed. And now we're seeing this connection together. He's got Trippier to feed him. He has made a great connection with Bruno. He's got 2 people he can feed off now. And it's just so much more. He's currently on 6 and we've only played 12.
Yeah.
There's still a long way to go. Could he reach double figures?
Potentially. I mean, between him and Wilson, they've got 11 goals at the minute, which isn't bad for a front two. I mean, even Jacob Murphy's been playing well, which really hurts me to say. It really does. It hurts me to the core because I have well, for lack of a better word, I have shit on his performances that he has had at the club because he has been terrible. But he's turned it around. Ryan Fraser's barely getting a look in, which is quite surprising, to be honest. I mean, Jolinton played left wing against Spurs just so Willock could slot back into the team. But now, here's my question for you. With Shelvey coming back to fitness, do you drop someone to slot him back into that midfield? Do you take out Willock? Do you take out Longstaff? What would you do?
I would take out Longstaff. I like Willock's performances. Willock puts in everything into the match. We haven't seen Longstaff perform as well for a very long time. Personally, I do think Longstaff's time at the club is over. I don't think he's going to... We bring anyone else in that role, then Longstaff is not going to be in that side. You're going to have Willock, you're going to have Shelvey, you're going to have Bruno and whoever else. I don't see Longstaff lasting much longer. Shelvey's going to take his place. If not Shelvey, that'll be Willock. So you can already, now that Shelvey's back, you're already saying that Longstaff is most likely third choice.
Yeah. Well, it's yeah. I think it's harsh on Sean. I mean, like I said, I'm quite critical of him. But some of the stats that they were showing during the Tottenham game is he's covered the most ground out of any Newcastle player so far this season. So he puts the graft in. It's just sometimes his inability to be quick on the ball lets him down. And he's got the turning circle of a fucking dump truck. I mean, the boy takes 20 minutes to face one direction and spin round to the other. And it does cause him to lose possession of the ball sometimes, which isn't great. But then again, he does the other basics quite well. So he's starting to look like the player that we thought we had when he first come on the scene. But what is he now? I think he's about 22 now. And, you know, when you think Bruno's 24 and the quality that he's got, I don't ever see Sean reaching the level of ability to be first team for us. He's a good rotational option and he helps fill the quota of homegrown players. But yeah, I'm with you. I think Shelvey comes straight back into that side. Do you reckon it's too soon for him to start against Villa this weekend?
Yeah, I'll probably give him another sub appearance, give him a bit more time because he didn't really get that much time when he came on. I'll probably give him about half hour, see how he does against Villa. Or maybe you could start him and take him off at half time. Yeah. Or in the second half, just bring him on in after the hour mark. I wouldn't give him a full game yet. And then maybe after Villa when we got Southampton, is it? We could just start him then, get him full 90 on Southampton, but yeah. I'd only have him on for a few minutes. Well, I'll give him more than what he had against Spurs. I'll give him half hour if he comes on as a sub, or I'll give him the first half if he was to start. I wouldn't give him the full yet. Play him in the next game. Yeah, no, I get that, mate. I get that. I know we've got a cup game coming up as well against Crystal Palace, which is probably the best option to start him in, because then you can sort of, maybe rest Bruno for that game and bring him on as a sub if needs be, and you can just have Shelvey play in that sort of position instead. Would you have Karius start? Ooh. I probably would, in honesty. Let Pope have a rest. It's come out that obviously he was concussed in that Liverpool game in the Champions League. So benefit of the doubt to the guy. Yes, he's got a mistake in him, but then again, what keeper doesn't? Nick Pope's not exactly covered himself in glory when he played for England. He had that mistake in him. So yeah, I think I would. I think I'd give him the opportunity to play because it's coming up to January. He's not made any appearances yet. His contract expires soon. Why not give him the opportunity to see if he deserves to stay? Because, Gillespie's never going to get a game. So if we've got Darlow and Karius fighting for second place, that's two decent goalies, And then we've got good squad depth there. But yeah, I think I would. I think I'd play him against Palace. I think he could do a job. Yeah, I'd have him start. I've said for a while, he was concussed. Throughout that entire season, Liverpool played him as a number one. There was no fault in him. No, he was a decent shot stopper. He may have had a decent few clean sheets. He played amazing, but they all jumped on his case because of that one match.
Mm-hmm.
He was concussed in that one match.
Yeah.
So his career goes to shit because of that one match. Drop that. Leave that alone. Think of the rest of those performances that he's done. I think he is an amazing signing, and we got him for nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing at all. Dubravka is not even welcome back at Newcastle. The way his interviews have said how he's so happy to be a part of Man United. Yeah, just be happy at Man United. Go sit and rot on the bench for all I care. We've got Karius. He's younger. He's more fitter. He is more built. He is probably a better goalkeeper. He is a German international. He's got us for free. If he can make a name for himself, give him a new deal.
Yeah, well, I guess Eric Ten Hag agrees with you as well, because Dubravka can't get anywhere near their first team organ. And you see him sitting in the stands in these games and the face of thunder on it. It's honestly, it's beautiful. It is absolutely beautiful to see.
I would have absolutely loved it if we got 3 points at Old Trafford just to see his face.
Well, they've still got to come to us, and I'm sure he'll be sat in the ground, and I'm sure he'll get some stick from the fans when he's there as well.
The only problem is we can recall him from January onwards, but will we?
I don't think we will. We're getting money from him staying there. They're paying us for them to keep him. Obviously, he's probably not going to play the allotted game time. Although after the World Cup, who knows, if De Gea goes down, breaks his arm, he might get somewhere. You never know what's going to happen. But we're making money off of him being there, and we've got a free squad place with him there as well. So he didn't want to be it. He's gone on about how much Man United is incredible for him. I say fuck him. He can stay there, to be honest. It's not often I swear. I'm going to set the YouTube video now for not for kids, but yeah, it's a difficult one because I loved Martin when he was here, but he's burnt bridges now, and I think it's a bit unfair for him, if he ever does, to expect to come back with open arms from the fans. And yeah, it's not for me, I don't think.
No.
But yeah, so on to the next topic. Callum Wilson for England. What's your thoughts on that? Because I know a lot of media and pundits have been talking about him as a dark horse for doing it. Now, that confused me. Calling him a dark horse to go, for me, is insulting, because he is statistically the second best striker for England in the league after Harry Kane. And, you know, the stats don't lie. He's averaging a goal, every 2 games, every 3 games, something like that, with his injury record and the fact that, you know, he's barely played the past few seasons and he's still managing these sort of goal output. For me, it's a no-brainer.
With me, it's yes and no.
Mm.
Yes, he deserves to be in that England shirt. He deserves to represent Newcastle and England. Like, we haven't had an English player play for England since like Andy Carroll made an appearance for England under us. Now we have Trippier as part of the England club. You now have possibly Byrne now desperately saying that he needs to go. He needs to be in that England squad. Have Callum Wilson in there. You got Nick Pope. We have got England players that are desperate to be in that side. They deserve to be in that side. Callum Wilson, yes, I'd have him in there. Give him the ball, he'll score. He can run. He's got the pace. He can score goals. No, I don't want him in that squad because of his injury record. He gets naffed again. We are lost for another striker. We ain't getting Isak back for a while.
Well,
and I am not relying on that Kiwi. I am not relying on Chris Wood.
Now, in all fairness, he came on as a sub against Spurs, and I feel like he did a half-decent job, Chris Wood. He didn't score. He didn't do anything, but he did hold up the ball, and he made a few decent runs. However, I'm with you on this. I would love him to be able to play for that England team. Whether Southgate's going to give him that opportunity when Ivan Toney's available and Tammy Abraham, I don't know. Especially, like you said, the injury record, for me, I don't know if it's something that Southgate's going to go, do you know what, it's just not worth the risk. I'd love him to be there. I mean, I listen to him and Mikel Antonio's podcast all the time, and the way he talks about it, he's so professional in the way that he approaches things, in the sense of, he said he'd love to be able to go and play for England, but his mind's not on that. He just wants to focus on playing for Newcastle and doing well for them. And if he gets picked, he gets picked, which is the attitude you want. Dan Burn, I feel, definitely should be part of that team. I mean, he can slot in at left back, he can slot in at centre back. Southgate likes to play with 3 centre backs. Well, that's perfect. If you play Dan Burn on the outside left centre back position, he can drift out wide, he can stay in the middle, and then on the set pieces, you've got another man in the box that could easily tower over everyone and put one in the net. It just makes sense to me, but you know,
all you have to do is name Dan Burn and just kick out Harry Maguire, because he's absolute dog shite.
Well, we all know what's going to happen. Southgate's going to pick the team, and Tyrone Mings will probably be there, and or Connor Cody. And to be fair, Cody and Tarkowski are also a shout, because they've been really good for Everton. Their back line has been defensively solid this year, and the stats say that. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm not the biggest fan of Everton, and some of their fans, just like ours, to be fair, have been trying to create this rivalry, haven't they, between us and them. However, yeah, Dan Burn, for me, he has to be on the plane to Qatar, because he's just such a good player. And I feel sorry for John Joe, because the way he came back in pre-season, he was built and he was fit and he was raring to go. And I reckon if he'd have stayed fit, he would probably have performed just as well as the rest of the team. He would have been in with a shout, because it's been a long time since he was called up. But with his level of passing and the way that Southgate likes to play, he would have been terrific in that team. Just sitting back in the midfield, pinging the balls forward for Foden, Saka, and Harry Kane to run onto. But you know, for some reason, other than the players we've got that are already established in that squad, I don't think Southgate's going to change too much and put them in there.
No, he's not. He's going to pick his same players based on favourability. Harry Kane's going to be in there. Pickford's going to be in there, even though how shite he is. Harry Maguire's going to be in there. Jordan Henderson's going to be in there. Wouldn't surprise me if he recalls bloody James Milner as well. Yeah, it's just picking players over their name. He's not picking them over form. If you pick them over form, then Nick Pope's got to be in there. Dan Burn's got to be in there. Wilson's got to be in there. You know, Miggy and Bruno's got to be in there. Why not? Just throw them all in there.
Now, here's one for you. A little bit off topic, but obviously we'd say Nick Pope if I put him in with this option. So you're taking 3 keepers to Qatar, and the alternatives to Jordan Pickford and Nick Pope, Ramsdale, and Dean Henderson. And obviously we'd say Nick Pope off the bat. So out of Dean Henderson and Aaron Ramsdale, who would you take?
Ramsdale.
Yeah?
Yeah, it'd be Ramsdale. Arsenal top of the table for a reason. Their defense hasn't been all that, but they have been on point. But when they haven't, Ramsdale's been there. Yes, he's suffered 2 relegations in 2 seasons, and I was thinking, all right, the 3rd season he's joined Arsenal. Arsenal are going down, but he's proved everybody wrong. He's shown what a keeper he can be. Ramsdale for me. Henderson, when he was at Sheffield United, yes, no, England number 1, definitely. That first season, amazing player. Goes back to Man United to fight for his place. They refused to play him, no matter how much he demanded first team football. He's now joined Forest. He's now an iffy kind of player. I don't really rate him as highly as I did when he was there. So it's got to be Ramsdale.
Yeah, I'd agree with you. Ramsdale's been at Arsenal how long now? A season and a half. And in that time, he's proven himself as a good goalkeeper. Henderson's been playing, he's had 12 games in the last year, basically. So to factor him in as an option, for me, it seems a bit unfair on those that are consistently playing at a top level when you've got one goalkeeper that makes some very good saves every 2 or 3 games. It's not consistent with Henderson. But yeah, no, I think I'm in agreement with you there, mate. Excuse me. So what about Sven Botman? I mean, we've got to talk Sven Botman. Jesus Christ, what a brick wall. The man is a monster in that defence. It's amazing. 11 games he's played and 11 games unbeaten. And the guy just wins everything, whether it's in the air, on the floor. Oh, honestly,
How much did Van Dijk cost?
Oh, a lot. 75 million, wasn't it?
Something like that? 75, 80 mil. Yeah, we got Botman for a lot less. Look at our entire defence, and it's less than what Maguire or even Van Dijk cost. And Botman, he is now the best Dutch centre-back in the world, or even the best centre-back in the world. Van Dijk, step aside. You ain't nothing now. Botman is the future.
I think it just goes to show, Paolo Maldini was the one that wanted him at AC Milan, and you can see why. Maldini knows a good defender when he sees one, and this kid, I mean, the money we paid for him as well was a steal. He is so good. Like, it's weird saying we've got good players, but all over the pitch now, we could pick one player out of the first 11, and we could spend an entire podcast talking about them because they're that good. Whether it's Pope, Trippier, I mean, I'm not naming the whole first team, but every single one of them. Even Fabian Schär, the ball he played for Wilson against Spurs, all right, it was slightly off target and it went towards Lloris, but the vision that he's got to be able to spot that player making that run and the ability to try and put it there as well, he is transformed. And Trippier,
you can just imagine if Shelby was on that ball and he'd crossed it in.
Oh, don't. We'd have the entire back four able to pick passes. Even Dan Burn can ping a pass across pitch, across the field to a player. So the fact that we've got the talent that we have, and Shelby still to come back, ASM still to come back, Isak still to come back, it's starting to get very exciting. I'm trying not to get carried away with myself.
It's the fact that we have the amazing greatest passers in our team that can pick out passes.
Yeah.
But it's just knowing that we have the greatest passer in the entire league just coming back from injury in Shelby, because he can pick a pass out of nothing. Shelby is the pass god. He can do those Hollywood passes. So when he's back in that team, you've got Shelby pinging those passes. Bruno, Miggy. Oh my God, I cannot wait to see that.
Bruno's going to be able to push forward more because he's not going to be defending because Shelby's going to be sat back. So Bruno can push forward and score more goals like he has been last season. Oh, mate, it's very exciting stuff. So exciting. But you think as well, St. Maximin's still got to come back in that team. Now, I don't know if he does, if I'm entirely honest. I don't think he's a shoo-in for the first team anymore because the way they've performed without him, they've performed as a unit. And when St. Maximin comes back into that team, in his mind, it's all about St. Maximin. And now, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that. Having an ego in football can sometimes be a good thing. Self-confidence, belief in yourself, it's a good thing. But he leaves a gap on that left side when he charges forward. So I'm not sure Eddie's going to be going, all right, yeah, you're back in the first team. I never thought I'd say these words, but Jacob Murphy or Ryan Fraser probably starts ahead of him for that reason, because they are more part of the unit than they are the individual.
Yeah, for me, he has to earn that spot back. He has to earn it. That's the one thing I hate about ASM. He's a ball hogger, and it has to be about him. If he doesn't receive that ball, he goes off in a hissy fit, and then as soon as he does have that ball, he holds on for it for too long. I think he has to earn that spot. Fraser and Murphy have played when we've been getting all these results. Strange enough, I'd pick Murphy. I mean, I like Murphy. I think being a fan of the club, it's about time he started putting in the performances. Having him in. Fraser, I don't know what's happened going on with him. But he's got the speed, he's got the ability, he can make an assist, he can put the crosses in. ASM has to earn that spot back, or unless he's going to have a hissy fit and do a Ronaldo and just walk off down the tunnel.
Yeah, but even then, we could probably cash in and get a pretty penny for him. So either way, it's a win-win for us, really. But that being said, I mean, yeah, I'm in agreement. Murphy is probably the one to start for me for the fact that his intensity on the pitch at the moment is amazing. The way he presses, him, Miggy, Callum chasing down the defenders. You can see it going across the pitch as the ball moves from one side to the other. It's like a wave. It just sort of the players sweeping across. And you can tell how well drilled they are. And I can't state it enough. Their fitness is ridiculously good. 3 games in a week. It's pretty much the same team every game. And they're playing most of the game. Bruno only had 2 nights sleep at the Spurs game after, the birth of his baby. And he's still bossed it. That terrifies me slightly for the rest of the Premiership. The fact that he can do all of what he did on 2 nights without sleep, that's amazing. I mean, what a player. And you can sort of see why Real Madrid, Liverpool and Chelsea are all linked with him.
He ain't going nowhere. He's clearly stated he wants to be a legend at Newcastle. Yeah. He's going to be a legend at Newcastle.
Dan Ashworth already said, didn't he, that we're not selling him. And there's rumours that we're going to offer him a 200 grand a week contract to stay. I mean, he's on a contract till 2026 at the moment as it is. So any bid that comes in would have to be, 100 million plus.
Oh, it has to be minimum. Huge. Has to be huge.
Yeah. That being said, let me see. I've made a list of everything to talk about. Yes, the last thing, and it's about the biggest knobhead on the planet, Richard Keys. I don't know if you've seen the comments that he made after the game at Spurs.
No, I haven't seen those comments.
So it was along the lines of, if Newcastle want to move on and attract better players, they should
was it training facility to London? Yeah, I did catch a little bit of that. I was like, what the? Why do we need to move our training facilities way down here in the south? Yeah. Why train all the way down here and having to travel all the way back up there? He just wants us to get tired every single game so that we end up losing.
What made me laugh the most was his example of a player who rejected us because we weren't near London in Yarmolenko. That world-class player that really set the world alight at West Ham. That was his example. Yarmolenko rejected us to go to West Ham because West Ham was in London. But, I mean, come on, Richard. It's getting silly now, isn't it?
Isn't it the case with Gabby saying, "Oh yeah, we'd rather play for Brentford than to Newcastle"? Okay, yeah, fair enough. Great. Yeah. Wait till the weekend, Gabby. We'll show Villa what a real team does.
Well, that perfectly segues us onto the Villa game there.
Yeah.
So obviously, no Steven Gerrard, which kind of hurts me a little bit because if he was there, I know we'd have got the 3 points. They won 4-0 last time against Brentford, but let's face it, on the travels, Brentford have been poor. We smashed them 5-1, so it's not really
it's nothing to worry about.
Yeah, no, it's not really a sign of anything at all. Now, I'm dubious on this one because I know we can win, but then I've also seen us draw to Bournemouth and Crystal Palace at home. So I know it's not a foregone conclusion.
Only because VAR screwed us over.
Yes, but there's also that still might happen in this game. Now, I think we can win. I'm pretty sure we can win because their centre-back pairing isn't the strongest in the world. All right, they've got Danny Ings, who's a very good striker. Watkins, I'm a bit more dubious on. He had a good start there, but he's sort of faded. Buendia, Douglas Luiz on corner duty, I think, could cause a couple of issues because we've seen struggle from set pieces this season despite our height. But I mean, I can't see anywhere else on that pitch. Like if I did a combined Newcastle Aston Villa 11 right now, it's going to majoritively be Newcastle players. Maybe Douglas Luiz slots into our team, but I can't think of anyone else off of that team that I'd take, to be honest.
I'd probably take Matt. I know we've already got Matt Target, haven't we? Oh well.
Even Luca Dean can't get in their first team.
No. I bet they're missing Matty now. I bet they are missing Matty. It's going to be an easy game. It'll be an easy game. I'm calling it. It's going to be easy. Miggy's going to get 7 in 7.
I was going to say down that left wing, down our right wing, and their left side, they've got Ashley Young playing left back. I think Miggy can absolutely tear strips off that lad because he's getting on a bit. And
yeah,
Miggy,
I mean, what? He's like 56 or something now.
yeah. And I mean, there is always as well with Aston Villa players, they don't exactly have the temperament to stay calm throughout an entire game. So if we wind them up ever so slightly, which Jolinton seems to have become a master at doing, just winding opponents up and just pushing their buttons a little bit, I think we could probably get Matty Cash. He'd probably get sent off because he's got a bit of a temper on him. John McGinn, if he's playing. But Eddie's probably studied all these videos. I know immediately after the game against Spurs, one of his comments was, I'm just focusing on the Aston Villa game now. I'm not celebrating or anything. We've celebrated the win in the changing room. Now it's on to the Aston Villa game. And that's what you want. You want that mentality to keep the rhythm going all the way up to the World Cup. And,
oh yeah, definitely stay focused.
Yeah.
Don't think the job's done. There's still a long way to go in the season.
Exactly. I would keep the same team that played against Spurs, maybe dropping Willock and bringing Jacob Murphy back in, which I don't know what's happened to me putting Murphy in the team, but I'd bring him back in just for that pace. His end product still needs work. I mean, he's sloppy on the ball sometimes, but the pace causes problems. Yeah, so I think that's what I'd do. I think I'd drop Willock, put Jolinton back into the centre mid, stick Murphy out wide, and stick with the rest of the team as it was. I would play Matt Targett. However, I think Dan Burns done enough to stay in that team until he, monumentally cocks up, and then we bring Matt Targett back in.
Yeah.
So yeah,
that's like the right idea to do. Don't break up what's already a winning formula.
Yeah, and Eddie doesn't like doing that anyway, as we've seen. He played them all in 3 games in a week. So even before that, they were all playing as well. My question is, if Elliot Anderson is fit, would he come into that team instead of Jacob Murphy on that left side?
Oh, see, so now from the off, I wanted Anderson to start playing games.
I did as well.
To be honest, I've kind of forgotten about him now.
That's why I literally just asked. His name just popped into my head out of nowhere. I sort of thought, shit, yeah, he was injured, wasn't he?
I've kind of forgotten about him. The way we're playing, I'm like thinking, yeah, we don't need the youth. Sod the youth. We don't need them now. The way we're playing, wow. But we have amazing youth players that can come in. Anderson, I'm guessing he'll most likely be used as a cut player. I can't see him anywhere coming into the first team at the minute. He made a couple of minutes right at the start, but
well, I know when he came on against Everton, he caused some issues for them down that right-hand side. There was one moment where he was showing some really good ability on the ball, and then Anthony Gordon just took him out. So we know that he can come on and he can do something down that wing, because Murphy was slightly ineffective in that game, and Anderson came on and livened it up. So I would love to see him play, but I feel like Eddie Howe is kind of emulating what Pep did with Foden, in the sense of there's 30 minutes here, there's 15 minutes there, there's a full cup game for you. And he's just, introducing him slowly to the league as the season goes on. And then next year, potentially, he starts getting a bit more game time.
Yeah, most likely. You could probably see that this season being the moulding him into the team, next season more of a regular role, depending on how well the rest of the team have played and who we bring in January or who we improve on in the summer could well determine his future, whether he's going to be a more regular player, whether he's going to be a sub player, or whether he's just going to be moved on.
Yeah, I have to say, I can't see him being moved on. I do think he'll stay with us and go on to do big things, because he has, from the looks of him, he's got all the talent in the world. I mean, I've watched Adam Armstrong and the like come through the team. Adam Campbell, another one that I've seen come through the team. Haris Vukic, all of these youngsters that we've heard of, and
Mehdi Abid.
Exactly, yeah. But none of them have really displayed the level of ability that Anderson has. Every game he's been in so far, there's been moments where he could score or assist, and he gets involved. Whereas these other youngsters, they seemed a little bit scared when they came on the pitch, and that's nothing against them. They went on to have half decent careers, but yeah, I think Anderson can go to the next level, and he can stay with the club for that. But that being said, obviously Unai Emery has now been appointed as manager of Aston Villa after he rejected us in the summer. In the summer. After the takeover. Now, what I find funny about this is there's a lot of Villa fans trying to rub that in Newcastle fans' faces, but I think we lucked out on that front because we got Eddie Howe, and he has done a better job than I can see most managers doing, and that includes Emery. Emery has Villarreal sits 7th, I think, over in Spain. I could be wrong, but they're not doing particularly well in anything. And
it's the fact that I think that Unai has left a team, a Europa League team. He's left his Europa League status for Championship football because he's going to get Villa relegated.
So you reckon they go down?
Wasn't it I think I read that he ain't even going to be taking over yet. He's not going to be taking over until.
No, so he's waiting for a work permit.
Yeah,
so Monday or Tuesday that he finally takes over. But there's every chance he could be sat in the stands of the game, and I don't think he's going to get a welcome reception from Newcastle fans if he is.
So Villa are still going to be in for the beating of their lives because they're not going to have the Emery tactics or anything going in there. They need to learn how he's going to talk and everything with his good evening, and you ain't going to be able to. They're not going to have any training under him because he cannot work for that club officially until he gets that work permit. So he cannot have any involvement in that club. So how they've been playing under Gerrard and how they're being under their assistant, I don't know who their assistant is, but he is going to be in charge of them against us. So easy win for us. We haven't got to worry about the Emery effect. The next club have to worry about the Emery effect.
Yes, I agree on that front, and I think that we will get a win this weekend. I've got some confidence in this team now. I'm not predicting a draw every week. It's just it's a good feeling about this club at the moment, and I reckon we could win this, and I reckon we will. I reckon it's going to be a 3-1 win. Wilson getting another goal, Miggy getting another goal, and I'm hoping beyond hope that Joe Willock finally manages to hit the net. And I reckon, Danny Ings will probably get a goal because he always seems to find the back of the net against us. He's an irritating git when we play him because he always bloody scores. But yeah, I reckon we could beat them, and they're a beatable team. I don't see us dropping points. What about you?
I'm going 3-0. I think we can have another clean sheet. I'm going for a Wilson double with a Miggy with another Miggy goal. Make it 6-6 for him. Why not? Matt giving me 7th goal. He's on fire. You can bet. I'm gonna bet on him until he stops scoring. Yeah. So he's currently on 5-5. Weekend it's going to be 6-6. Double from Wilson. 3-0 win. 3 points sorted. Stay in the top 4.
Was what I loved after the game against Spurs. I can't remember if it was during or after, but Paddy Power tweeted out something along the lines of, it's 2025 and it's between Almiron, Jolinton and Haaland for the Ballon d'Or. Yeah, the way that they're playing at the minute, it's nice to see that mainstream media is taking notice and actually giving praise where it's due. But yeah, so 3-0 to you reckon? I reckon 3-1. It's going to be a good game. It's going to be a tight game. Just before I let you go, because I know you're knackered, mate, and you can go get some rest. Off topic, off of Newcastle, just for a minute, because I'm quite certain that this will probably happen. Rangers are doing real bad at the minute with Van Bronckhorst in charge. I reckon he goes, and I reckon Gerrard goes back there.
There's a saying that you should never go back to a club that you've already managed. So I wouldn't possibly. In Scotland, I do prefer Rangers over Celtic. I'm more of a Rangers fan than a Celtic fan. But I wouldn't take Gerrard back. I reckon if he goes back there, they wouldn't be as good as what they were. And I don't think that they would welcome him back because he jumped ship the moment a Premier League club came in for him. He is waiting for that moment Klopp goes out, because with Klopp's anger management, he's going to be shipped on at some point because they're going to have enough of that.
Yeah.
Gerrard's going to go straight in. Liverpool are going to sink down that table. Gerrard's going to be straight out. He needs to go to a championship team to build himself up, just like Lampard did. He started in a lower league. For Gerrard, he needs to start in a lower league before thinking that he can do it in the Premiership, because he clearly cannot. Scotland, fine, you're doing well, but no disrespect to the SPL, it's not as big and it's not as fast paced and it's not as well known as the Premier League. You had a big wake up call when you took charge of Villa. Now you need to think about that. Go to a championship side and build yourself up. Learn the ways of the game.
Agreed. I've got a feeling, though, that the Rangers board probably won't have learned that lesson. They'll try and ride the crest of the Gerrard wave a little bit again. That said, teams like West Brom are looking probably be a good appointment. I could see somebody like Wolves in desperation reaching out to him.
Yeah, didn't they try to bring back Nuno?
Yeah. I do think that they could probably reach out to Gerrard in desperation if no one else becomes available. But
I think Bruce is available.
Yeah, he is. Yeah. But all right, sorry. Yeah, very, very, very last thing. Liverpool 0, Nottingham Forest 1. That was a very fun day.
That's my response. And it was a former Liverpool player that scored the goal.
I know. You couldn't have wrote it better yourself, could you?
He could not get into that Liverpool squad because of a work permit issue. Mm-hmm. He finally moves away. He comes back. He's got a work permit. He scores the winning goal.
What I loved the most after the game was all of the memes about Jurgen Klopp going around. We can't compete with a team like Nottingham Forest with all the money that they've got available to them. It was just, it was perfect. Absolutely everything about it was just beautiful. And Van Dijk missing a header by 20 yards. That was another great moment in that game.
That's why Botman is the better one.
Oh yes. Well, he's in the provisional squad for Holland, isn't he, Botman? So we might get to see him at the World Cup, which would be lovely. But I'm just looking forward to this weekend. You doing a watch along on your channel or anything?
No, I only do watch alongs if it's on BT Sport. So if it's not on BT Sport,
it's kickoff this week, isn't it?
Yep. Won't be shown, obviously.
Yeah, there we go. So I'm sure I can find some kind of website to watch it on. I always do.
Yeah, no doubt. I'll find somewhere I can watch it.
That's all right. And next week we'll obviously sit down for a chat at some point and discuss what is going to be a win. I'm that confident. I don't see us getting a draw or a loss. It's going to be a win, whatever happens.
Oh yeah, definitely.
But yeah, it will be nice to talk about how we thrashed Villa. And but yeah, I hope your streams go well for the rest of the week, mate. Where can people find you?
You can find me on Twitter at Deadly Nightmare, but just take out the A, so it's DEDLY Nightmare. That's for Twitter because I couldn't fit the entire word in because it just didn't want to have that extra character. So, but on Twitch, you'll find me streaming daily. Just twitch.com/Deadly Nightmare. That's it. Oh, twitch.tv/Deadly Nightmare. That's where you find me, and you'll find all my socials on my YouTube. Yeah, at my YouTube channel, at my if you go to my Twitch channels, Twitch TV/Deadly Nightmare. You'll see, scroll down to the About Me, you'll see links to all my socials. Go there, join the Discord, join everywhere else. You'll have some fun, and you'll find my YouTube channel there as well. And all my videos get uploaded onto that. Yeah,
I know I might be biased because you're my co-host, but I love watching your stuff, mate. It's good stuff. obviously, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and join us for the next one next week. From me, it's bye, and I will see you next week as well, Jay.
Yep. No worries.
No worries. Cheers for joining me, mate. You take it easy.
Yeah. Catch you later.
Catch you later, mate. Bye.
See ya.